Okay, and I left the door open today to see if the sunlight give us a little more light on me, right? It might get darker a little later, but who knows? Maybe I might disappear in the dark. Alrighty, let's come to an easy cross-legged seated position. I didn't give you any specific instruction prior to class in means of props. Not that I had any in mind, but if you have your little pillow or your little cushion to sit on, that's always a good thing to have. And just find your position that you feel at ease and comfort, that your knees get a little lower than the hips, so that naturally you find that relaxing tilt of the pelvis forward that decompresses the back, especially if you've been sitting part of the day. And gently close the eyes, softening your breath into being more present in your body. Inviting the breath to flow in and out through the nose. And settling the physical body here a little heavier, a little more grounded on the floor, as hopefully the other layers of yourself, including your mind, might follow just the breath and the body relaxing on its seat instead of keeping on going. And as you keep on breathing nice and long, maybe I invite you to bring a little bit of the ujjayi breath, a slight constriction to the back of the throat. Starting igniting a little bit of inner warmth, even though it's pretty warm outside today, but still inviting that inner warmth into the body so that you can work with that warmth into the different joints and muscles, including into the different systems of the body, digestive system, respiratory system, and so on. And also through the ujjayi breath, maybe becoming more aware of sounds, the sound of the breath, which is another little trick for your attention to settle on, and your mind to have a point of attention and focus to rest on for a little bit. And within this space where we're breathing, we're feeling, we're grounding, we're landing on our seat and mat, invite your sankalpa, your inward intention for practice this evening. Whether it's the sankalpa that you've been holding dear for several weeks, several months, that you're working on a long run, or it can be the arising sankalpa just for tonight, just for now, that naturally comes up from a place of rest, attention, and focus inward. And we're going to start here. When you're ready to start moving, we're going to gently wave the spine from side to side. Warming up the spine, down to the hips a little bit, and the low back. And be playful with the waving and the swaying. So if you need to involve like extra movement of the shoulders or the head as you keep on waving the spine, please do so. It doesn't have to be a straight swaying from side to side. It can be an opportunity to feel where there's a little tension and to add a little stretch here and there. And as soon as you start moving, maybe you're already experiencing that the breath can deepen because you're unlocking and releasing spaces that were a little compressed. So enjoy the progressive fullness of the breath increasing. And just a couple more movement from side to side, or almost side to side. And then coming back to center to start now rolling around. Circling around the spine, down around the pelvis and the hips. And taking a couple more of this wonderful sweet rolls. And reversing, coming to the other side. Just starting your rolling. And it's so easy to get lost in rotations and not lost into the presence of it. But it's very easy when we know the movement that we've done so many times to start thinking and taking the mind away from the body, leaving the body alone. So bringing that awareness of the breath, visualizing in any way that is supportive of how you're turning the breath into the rotation of the torso, all kinds of little tricks for your mind to be taken into the experience instead of letting it loose, going away. 2 more. Back to center, rolling the shoulders, front up, back and down. And reversing, soft and easy, elbows bent. Last 2 with nice deep long breath. And relax, inhale, arms up. Join the palms together. Exhale through the midline of the body. And when you reach the heart, you press down with your hands. Inhale out and up. Exhale through the forehead, throat, at the heart, and then palms down. Breathe in. And out. 2 more. Maybe you even close your eyes if they're open. Maybe there's a slight pause at the end of the breath in. And push down. Pause at the end of the breath out. And 1 last. Inhale. Pause. Slide, exhaling. Pressing down, bottom of the breath out. Hold. And release. Bringing your right hand behind you, left hand to your right knee. And let's go into a little pulse here. Pulsing across the shoulders. Into a little twist from upper back and chest, and then stay in the twist. Press down into your right hand, push and pull from your left hand into the leg, and rotate your head over the right shoulder. And stay in the pose, arms and torso wide, and we're going to turn the head to look at the front and back. Rotate the head from one shoulder to the other shoulder. Last 2. And last one on each side. Keeping your head looking over the left shoulder. And release everything back to center. Loosen up a little bit. And let's go to the other side. Right hand to the outside of the left leg. Left hand behind. Press, push, lift. And start gently twisting. A little shoulder attitude here. It's not as much as far that you can go. It's more about warming up, kind of cranking up the heat into that upper back and upper spine, so that progressively you loosen up a little bit that space to make it more available for the twist to hold. And let's twist and hold. And again, we're going to turn the head from one shoulder to the other shoulder. Following your breath here. Last round. Head over the right shoulder. Stay here. Kind of the picture here. The selfie of the Instagram yoga pose picture. And then gently release everything back to center. Bringing your arms up. And grabbing opposite elbows or opposite forearms. whatever you can reach comfortably to drop the shoulders down. And we're going to rotate around the chest and the shoulders. So you're not rolling all the way out. As we were circling, we already did the circles. You're isolating the movement to the upper rib cage. And feeling a little bit of a pulling across the elbows. So you're inviting a little bit of tension here, that your hands are literally holding on the elbows and for them not to slide out. Couple more here. Back to center, stretch up. Fingers engaging, spreading the fingers wide, and then let's switch. Cross the arms the opposite way, and let's roll the opposite direction. Stretching the breath into the upper chest, the armpits, and the upper back. To find the fullness of the breath in. And as you breathe out, feel the softening of the space between your ears and the shoulders. One more. Back to center. Inhale, stretch everything up, lengthen. And exhale, releasing down. Let's transition, releasing the support that we have under if we have it, extending the legs out to the front, shake them out, and leaning back without collapsing, ankle rolls. And you might have heard right now, my ankle's cracking. That's good. I'm releasing any kind of trapped wind into my joints. So if you're cracking, just be part of my concert. A few more here. And then reverse, go opposite direction. And back to neutral. We're gonna sit up, bring the right leg up, bending the right knee. Grab the foot with your left hand, knee with the right hand. And we're gonna swing the leg across a few times, warming up into the right hip joint. And here, what feels very supportive is to use the right hand to push the knee across to the left when it swings to the left. And feel that extra stretch onto your IT band on the right side. And I feel it all the way into the glute. And back to center. Here you have two options. Either you land your leg on top of the other one with your ankle free to the side, or you can keep your leg up, wrapping your arm. And then you're going to interlace your fingers between your toes. If you have small toes like me, it can be a little challenging to find that space, but try to make your best here. And we're going to crank the ankle, rotate the foot. And if you were here, same movement, you're rotating the ankle here. So that's why you need to make sure that you're crossing your leg in a way that your ankle is free to move. And then reverse. Cranking the opposite direction, feeling the stretch between the toes. And release the cranking, switching the hands, grabbing with index, middle finger on top of the right hand around the big toe, left hand behind, and we're going to kick, open out, and roll. So it doesn't have to go all the way to straight leg. You keep your knee bent and you're steering. And just a couple more. And reverse, roll in. And try to keep that leg as loose as possible. So you might see that my torso is moving a little bit, my shoulders. Keep the left leg heavy and anchored, but give yourself some range of motion on that right side. Last two. And pause. Assist the leg to release it out. Shake things out. And let's go to the other side, bending the knee up, Grab the foot and the knee, right hand to the foot, left hand to the knee, and we're gonna swing the leg across. And breathe all along. No need to repeat the breathing part, because as far as I can see, and I don't have my glasses, but all three of you are yogis already. So hopefully you're not suffocating yourself without breathing. And slow down, bringing the leg across the right leg, hanging your ankle, or switching to holding the front of the shin. Bring your fingers between your toes. This toes on this side, my toes on this side are resisting a little bit, having a hard time using my fingers in between. Hopefully your toes are a little more stretched out, a little longer than mine. And let's crank it. And you can go really slow, really all around the full range of motion, or invite a little more heat and go a little faster, which also increases the heart rate. So it gives you a lot of cardio work here. Keep on breathing. And reverse. Just a few more. And soften, release, switch. Index, middle finger, and thumb of the left hand wrap around your big thumb. Your big thumb, no, your big toe. Big thumb and big toe. Right hand behind, and let's steer the leg. Roll out. Nice deep breath. And reverse. Roll in. Steer your nice big pot. Last two. And back to center. Support your leg. Let the leg go down and shake it out. And let's transition to all fours. Coming on knees and hands. Finding that square tabletop here. And allowing your belly to drop a little bit and find that natural arching into the low back. And then from relaxing your low back down and your belly down, stretch the chest forward, lift the chin away to what we call a cow pose in yoga. But here, just explore how it feels to stay here for a bit. And breathe into the spine. Feel the movement of the breath from the low ribs into the low back. Take one more inhale here. Hold the breath in, look up to your third eye or the ceiling. Exhale, start rolling up, rounding up. Drop your head down and stay here. Breathing nice and smooth. And now feeling the breath between the shoulder blades. And the relationship between the breath expanding into the shoulder blades, in between that space. And the squeezing of the belly around the navel at the end of the breath out. On your next exhale, completely empty the lungs. Hold. And release back to neutral. Take a few high rolls here, right on top of hands and knees, rolling around. And then loosen up the hips, soften the elbows, and go a little wider. You can even decide to open your hands a little broader. To me, that works better, as well as opening the knees just a little wider. So there's plenty of space to play with and rotate in. And challenge yourself to go a little lower forwards. Go slower and go wider in the movement. Almost hovering down above the floor. And then back up and back to center. To go to the other side, you can bring your hands and knees a little closer in because that's easier for the high rolls. And start exploring a little bit of what's different on this side. Because as I always say, when I'm not instructing specifically which side to start with, we naturally go into the easy side. And so then we switch and paying close attention to what feels different. It's also a way to connecting to your body, to the uniqueness of one side versus the other side. And then we're going to soften into the elbows, drop lower into the heels. Again, you can open your feet a little wide, your knees a little wider and your hands a little wider. You can even play with your head, moving around the circles, from dropping to rolling away. And then progressively go lower, really close, which activates the belly a little bit or strongly. Feel a little bit more in the arms. One more circle. And back up, back to your regular tabletop position. Bring your knees back in. Step back with your right foot. Planting the ball of the foot, and we're going to bounce gently forward and back. Tiny movement. Into starting opening the back of the right leg. Few more bouncing here, movement. And then stop bouncing, press back into the back heel and lift the left knee up an inch or two. Squeeze the belly in. And land gently the left leg, right knee down, realign, maybe a little sway of the hips. And let's go to the other side. Plant your left ball of the foot and start your bouncing here. Feel the stretch in your calf, in your hamstring. Keep on breathing. And stretch full back. Up the floor, inner rotate the legs, square the hips, and lift your right knee up an inch or two. Squeeze at the navel. Feel the sides of the belly from the inner hips towards the waistline, coming in toward the core, toward the midline. Right knee and right shin down. Left knee down. Sway the hips a little bit from side to side. Back to center. Toes under again, this time with the knees and feet hip distance apart. Sit back to your heels and press from your hands to bring the sit bones as deep down to the heels. And you can stay high here, that's one option, or you can bring yourself down to the forearms, or you can even go into stretching your upper arms as you stretch your toes. So you anchor the elbows, you bring your hands together, walk the elbows out as you press down into your feet. Drop the head and bring your hands behind your head and breathe. Feeling the stretch in two different areas, the sole of the feet and toes, and the chest and upper arms. Keep on breathing here, nice and long. Releasing your arms out. Release the elbows. Slide your hands in to frame your knees. Roll up and come up to sitting on your heels. If this is uncomfortable, your knees cannot take it, you can place a support between your butt and the heels, and that's going to release the tension from the knees. And at the same time, it's going to add more weight onto the toes to stretch your toes a little deeper. One more breath here. Or 2 or 3. And then shifting forward, release, plant your hands and heel up to your down dog. Find the right distance, calibrate that first down dog, find your landing position. And we're gonna lift and lower the heels one at a time. So finding that access first. But instead of doing it as we usually do with the sway of the hip, that is a walking dog, we're going to get it into a jogging dog. So you're lifting a little more actively and dropping the heels and your hips stay in place. Now you're pumping the blood to the back of the legs. Strong on your arms, pressing the weight away from your wrist to your fingers. 2 more. Go for the last stretch, maybe a little faster. And stretch all the way back into down dog. And see if you've gained a little more openness through the back of the legs here. Bringing your left foot forward and right knee down, round in, and then press up into pyramid. Inhale, lower. Exhale, push up. Breathe in and out. You can move your hands back. You can go a little higher. Drop in and lift up. Last one. Drop, press and lift and stay. So here we're going to go into 1 foot at a time. You're going to, here you might be able to see it. Flex the front foot, drop, lift the back heel, drop. Flex the front foot, drop, back heel up. And let's do this a couple more times. If it's extremely challenging here, you can bend your front knee. When you're bending, you're flexing the foot and then stretch down, and you can bend the front knee also here as you press into the ball of the back foot. Last one. And drop, bend the front knee, step back into plank. Hold your plank for 2-3 breaths here. And push back to down dog. Deep, long breath, in and out. Taking a right foot forward. Bending and dropping your left knee, round down, kind of collapse on your legs. And then push and press up and stretch. Inhale, drop. Exhale, push away. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Breathe in and out. And last one. Breathe in and out and stay. Stay in your pyramid. Readjust as needed. If you need to shorten your stand here, you can do that. And let's go into the feet, alternating from flexing the front foot to lifting the back heel. Flex and lift. Inhale, exhale. And find that synchronistic breath, wonderfully aligning with the movement of the body, like finding its mate. Movement, joining breath. Couple more. and last. And bend the front knee, step back into plank, hold the plank here, 2-3 breaths. And this time we're going to lower into chaturanga, either with the knees down or in full plank. Lower down, ground, press the front of the feet down, lift up, nice, to either a low cobra, higher cobra, or an up dog, whatever feels good on your low back. This is the first one, so don't push it too hard. Take a couple breaths here. See if you can press into your fingers. Tendency here is to collapse on the wrist and lifting the inner arch of the hand. So press away to the base of the fingers, out to the fingers, and feel the difference in your low back, in your position, in your shoulders. One more breath. And then soften. Press back into child's pose. Open your knees as wide as you need to completely relax from that back opener, to soften and feel the tingling, feel the release across the low back. Two more breaths here, nice, deep and long. Bringing the arms forward, stretch and spread, come up to all fours, and lift up to down dog. Stretch out, and then you're gonna make sure that you're stable on your feet, which is pretty obvious here, but also stabilize and shifting weight into your left hand, so you can slide your right hand across, flip your palm up, and drop your right elbow and right shoulder. Look underneath your left armpit and breathe. So here is not as much as regular pose would be to grab the leg and really twist under. It's more about that relaxing and dropping of the shoulder into a milder twist. And then slide your right hand forward again. Reposition, inhale. Then bring that left hand across. Lift and drop and breathe. Couple more breaths. And then releasing left hand forward. Inhale forward into plank. Lower down either from knees or from full plank into chaturanga. Pause all the way down. Inhale, lift up, shoulders back. And exhale, push back into child's pose. You can take advantage of child's pose here to bring your arms to the side of, not all the way out to the side to full child's pose, but bend one wrist here and then the other one to the other side and stretch gently. Elbows back, stretch into the front of your hands. Pressing down on your shins and your feet. Maybe open your feet to hip distance apart here. And we're going to push up. Lift the arms all the way up. Hands together, clasp the fingers, rotate your palms up to the ceiling. Push and ground down from the shins, thighs. Stay in the same position. You're not pushing the hips forward. So you extend up. And then from here, see if you can bring your arms behind you a little bit more. But see the position of my hips is not moving anywhere. I'm not pushing forward here. I'm grounding and stretching from the upper back. Feel that you're engaging into an inner rotation of the thigh to keep broad space across the low back. One more stretching breath here. And then softening down, releasing your hands down to all fours. Inhale into cow. Exhale, lift into down dog. You can walk your dog here from side to side as your regular walking dog. And back to neutral, back to center. Stepping up your left foot to the outside of the left hand. And here your hands are to the inside of the leg, and you're going to gently shift from right to left. So your hips are swinging across. You keep your legs engaged, meaning that you're grounding that front foot. You're grounding into the ball of the back foot. And back to center, stretch out wide, wide, from the position of the legs first, because one leg is forward and the other one is back, but also wide because it's not that narrow lunge where you have your foot to the inside of the hand. You're broad out here. So therefore, to make sure you're not losing the position of the left knee and it's not collapsing towards your left arm, you're pressing down from the ball, the base of the big toe, all across the ball of the foot into the little toe. You can even lift your toes up and feel that activation of the foot, which stabilizes the left leg. And from here, we're going to lower down a little bit and do a mild push-up here a few times. And it can be just 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be lower than that, or a little lower. And last, push up. Come to your fingertips and slide the sternum forward. Feel the stretch even more intensely onto the right hip joint and the right psoas. And soften hips up a little bit. Walk your hands to the initial position of shoulder distance apart. Step back left foot and stretch out the whole body in down dog. Enjoy here, resting in breath for 2 or 3 cycles of breath. Deep in, long out. Shifting forward, right foot to the outside of the right hand. Hands are to the inside of the leg. You can broaden a little bit. And let's switch from side to side. Swing the hips. Make sure your back foot is strongly anchored. Your front foot is strongly engaged and active. And last one. Stay to neutral here. Back leg is completely straight. Front knee is obviously bent. And you keep that activation of the right foot. Lift the toes. Engage Pada Bandha here. The foot lock. And then here we're going to go into the gentle push-ups. Up and down. 1/2 inch or 1 inch. A little lower. Two more. Push away, come to your fingertips to get a little more height, and then slide the sternum forward, roll the shoulders back, look up, feel the left hip dropping a little lower. And push away, hands to floor, step back into down dog, stretch your down dog here. Coming forward to plank, and this time pivoting to the outer edge of the right foot, and stepping forward with your left foot to side plank. You can either stay here with your hand down, or you can extend your left arm up. Keep your feet actively engaged. Lift the hips. Here it's a lot harder to hold than lifting the waistline up. And switch. Left hand down, pivot, find your plank again, and switch sides. Outer edge of the left foot, right foot in front, push and rise, lift the left side of the waistline up. Releasing right hand down, pivot back to center, full down dog, exhale. And coming forward to drop the knees, Exhale into extended child's pose. Arms forward, drop on your forearms, relax your head down. And let's rock the hips gently from side to side. Coming back to center. Stretching the arms out. Lifting forward and up into downward facing dog. And then walking your hands to your feet to a forward fold to the back of your mat. Feet are hip distance apart, grabbing opposite elbows, hang head and elbows and shoulder, and give it a little swaying forward and back. Even if your knees are deeply bent here, sway a little bit from the movement of the arms and the head. Loosen up. And then relax right into that center point of gravity. You can again keep your knees bent, or maybe you can explore to straighten the legs just a little bit, bringing the sit bones up, roll the hips under, and breathe. Deep, long breath. Taking advantage of several rounds of breath to fold deeper in. Allow the spine to relax just a little bit deeper. And releasing your arms down. Start rolling your way up to standing to the back of your mat. And find Tadasana. Open your feet wider out. Bend the knees a bit, and let's start swinging the arms from side to side. Tapping across the hips and the lower back. A few more. And back to center. Bring your feet hip distance apart. Now we're going to swing as we bend the knees, the arms forward and up into chair pose. And then exhale, forward fold, back straight. So you're going into halfway up with the arms going further up. And then bend the knees, chair, and swing back. Straighten the legs. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. And out. Two more. Breathe in. And out, and last one, stay. Hug your chair here. So bend the knees as deep as you can, because it actually becomes easier. The lower your point of gravity is, the easier it becomes. And then instead of thinking of tucking the tailbone under or down, like some cues can be that in yoga classes, you don't want to stick your tailbone all the way back. But you want to engage Mula Bandha, and gently engaging or strongly engaging Mula Bandha, the lift of the pelvis floor, brings tailbone in alignment, brings integrity to the hips in relationship to the legs, and make your spine nice and supported so your upper body is not struggling as much. Take one more breath here, and then exhale, fold. Take a gentle halfway up. And exhale, fold and walk out all the way to your belly, chest. Extend your arms forward in prayer pose, prostration pose or pranayama. Forehead down, stay here for several breaths. One more breath, bowing to the earth, bowing to your own body, and then releasing the hands from forward, bring them to the side, forearms to the side into Sphinx pose. Rotate your toes gently in, heels out, and broaden, doing so as you have an inner rotation of the legs. You're pressing the thighs down and feel the opening across the low back. Feel how the sit bones split apart a little bit. They're practicing social distancing here. And stretch your belly forward. So give that action to the forearms, being engaged in a way that if you weren't anchoring your legs and feet strongly, you would be sliding forward. And that's the action you want, so that you're grounding the pubic bone and you feel the stretch all across the belly to the lower ribs. Two more breaths here. And then pressing from the hands, and they're far forward, right? We're gonna go into seal pose. Press and lift, maybe a couple of inches or all the way straight. And here, this is a really safe way, unless you have really very much back pain here. But this is a lot safer in the compression of the spine than going into a upward facing dog that has a shorter angle into the compression. So let's try to hold that seal pose, which is a yin yoga pose, right here. Make sure you're not fighting it by lifting the shoulders up to the ears. Drop the shoulders down and drop the sternum and the base of the ribs down. Couple more breaths, giving some juice to the spine, some fresh blood through the compression. You're activating through the compression the blood flow there, so that when we release, there's a flushing right through that point. One last breath if you can hold it here. And one tip here is to think about the sturdy frame of your body, your bones, and therefore trying to think that you're holding the pose from the bones just stacking on top of each other instead of using resistance through the muscles. And release. Make a pillow with your hands, stacking them on top of each other, forehead to the hands, and rock the hips from side to side. Coming back to center, keeping one arm in front of you, the right hand and the right arm. Let's start with that one. And then kick your left foot up, grab the foot behind you, and start pressing the foot as slow as you can to your butt cheek. Breath in, a few more times here, a few more breaths, so they can really dig into the quad. And then from here, if that feels comfortable, you can lay down and pull a little deeper in, making sure that you're not hurting at your knee. And release gently the pressure away from the foot, so you can flip and open the foot out to the side and press to the side of the hip. And be mindful here, be careful, especially if you have some knee issues. And release the foot away. Plant your left hand to the side. Roll slightly to the right to slide your left knee out to the side, opening out. Shin perpendicular to the leg. Frame your chest here and push up. Breathing and stretching into the right hip, front of the right hip. I don't know about you, but this is a position that I enjoy a lot because it really stretches from your low belly into the front of the hip. And if I've been sitting for a while today, which I was working at the computer, Then it stretches, it goes into that opposite direction of what you do when you're sitting. And you feel a deep, deep core release. The psoas is such a thick muscle, and it has a lot of strength and power in it. So sometimes it's a little hard to relax it and stretch it out in proportion of all the effort it does to keep the back and the hips in movement. And release all the way down. Sliding your left leg back. You can shake your legs out a little bit before we go on the other side. Push up into your sphinx to realign things to center. And then from that spaciousness of the spine, we're going to bring your the left arm in. Find that full surface of support through your left forearm. Kick your right foot up. Grab your foot behind and press it in. Start feeling the quad, noticing if it's pretty open or it still needs a little bit more to trust the stretch and to release the resistance. And then when you're ready, you can go down and pull that foot a little closer in. Again, be gentle if you feel any really strong resistance into the right knee. Especially again, if you had knee surgery or you have some inflammatory processes in the knees, make sure that you're not overdoing if it feels really achy here. You should be really feeling most of the stretch in the quad. And it gives a wonderful stretch for the knee ligaments, but you don't want to overdo it. And then soften that stretch back a little bit so you can open the foot to the side and press the foot down to the side of the hip. One more breath here. And then soften the foot out. Plant your right hand to the side to roll onto your left side. So you can slide the right knee and right leg out. Then square to the front. Frame the chest or a little lower to the mid-rib cage, depending on how far up you can go, and stretch up. And breathe. So on the right leg, that is a half frog. And on the left leg, we're getting this deep stretch into the psoas. Last couple breaths here. I could stay here forever. Maybe not forever, but quite a bit more because it really, really feels good to me. And then lower slowly back down. Slide your right leg in again. Gently rock the hips from side to side. And back to center. Last stretch of the quads here. Now that we warmed up everything, you kick both feet up. You grab ideally the front of the feet. And we're not going to go into a bow pose, which is the preparation here. It looks like we're going to go into bow. You're going to press the feet down, lift the elbows up. So you're squeezing the elbows together, shoulder blades together. Lift the head and chest up a little bit. And keep that action of bending the elbows, rolling the elbows in, and pushing the feet into your glutes. Two more breaths. And release down. Keep your knees bent, but release the feet. Open your knees a little wider. And wind chill, swinging the feet from side to side. One foot dropping to the inside of the opposite knee at a time. And now we're gonna cross ankles in and then open out. And opposite ankles and out. And cross and open and cross and open. Couple more times. Cross right ankle over the left. Reach back to opposite feet with your hands. Find the connection right underneath your ankles into shin and look out and push up. Kick your feet back. Lower down, exhale. Cross your feet the opposite way. Your left ankle in front of the right. Reach back, opposite feet with your hands. Try to find the right position for your feet, shins and calves right into the center. Especially when we go to the other side. I started with my easy side. So now I'm like, where's my foot? Where's my ankle? And kick back and up. And breathe. Slowly release down. Release the feet, legs down. Rock the hips from side to side. Then breathe deep. Maybe sigh out a few times here. That was intense. Back to center. Frame the chest. Push up. Slow and easy. Make your way back to child's pose. Open your knees wide out to a wide child's pose. Walk back. As you come to sitting your sit bones on your heels, give it a little rocking action here. And then you have several options for your arms. You can either extend your arms forward, forehead down. You can bring your arms to the side, or you can go into goddess arms or cactus arms to the side. Drop the chin and chest down. And breathe. Breathe into an open chest, into that goddess heart. If you want a little extra openness of the chest, you can slide forward into your goddess arms, chin down, sit bones up. Drop the heart. Sliding back, sitting onto your heels. Bring your hands inside your knees. Open your knees out. So here, obviously I have like a lot of padding on the sides, but that might not be your case. So let's move sideways on the mat. So you're both legs on the mat. So move to the mid part of your mat, knees together. And then open out. Now you probably know where we're heading here. We're gonna go into full frog. Open as far out as you can. Then come forward, but not too far forward so you're not losing the connection with the hips. So the hip should be in a straight line to the knees. It shouldn't go to this awkward angle forward. And then from here you bring your shins out. So now you have a 90-degree angle between the shins and the thigh. And then you have a 90-degree angle between the torso and the thigh. That's why you're not rocking the hips back, neither going forward, because that would be a wider angle here. And if you're super tight, you're going to stay up here with your arms straight, almost straight. If you want to try to go down without moving the position of the hips, you come down to your forearms. And you get comfortable here. If you're already super wide open, you can go all the way down the chest and head down and breathe here. Take it to whichever level feels good to you tonight. Considering that it's not about going too far to that past edge point. You want to be able to breathe here. You want to be able to relax the glutes and relax the belly instead of like tightening everything, because the body is resisting to go to that place that your brain wants to take you. So honor the different stages, because after staying here for a while, you'll get to a new edge. The body will start relaxing a little bit. Your muscles will start lengthening a little bit and resisting less. And naturally, you'll be able to go a little lower, being able to still breathe fully and deep. So no rush, because we're going to stay here for a little bit. And too bad I cannot see you well from where I am, that you're not in the same room than me. Because probably you're like, Dan, Dushka, why are you doing that? And I could see it on your face if I could see your faces. But because it's not the case, that I'm going to assume that you're in blissful land. That it feels so good. And then you're in a full split, side split. And then you're just chilling and enjoying. Maybe you just like tell this story to yourself and you bring a smile on your face. And you just enjoy deep, deep, deep being in this position for that long and a little longer to come. So make sure again you're breathing deep, because the more you're holding your breath, the more you tighten the body, the more that you're resisting, the more painful it gets. Comes a point you're not feeling your legs anymore because they're past the point of hurting. No, I'm kidding. Let's take 2 or 3 full deep breaths here. Go really, really deep into that belly breathing. That you're sending that inhale to your inner thigh, inner hips. And then start slowly moving up. So you walk your hands up to underneath the shoulders. Then from here, you shift forward. Bring your feet in. And then you start rolling back, and midway of the roll back, you can shift your weight a little heavier to one side to slide one knee in, and then bring the other knee in, and either come to sitting on your heels in hero pose, or you can come to easy pose, sit bones on the ground, even with your legs extended forward so that you can shake your legs out, whatever feels right, especially for your knees here. And here you might have held tension in the neck and head in the position. So give yourself a few head rolls. Nice and smooth and easy, slow and sweet. And reverse. And back to center. Shake your shoulders up and down. And relax. And let's come to seated position, legs extended forward in the regular direction of your mat. Actually, I should be going the other opposite side because my microphone is here. And from here, flexing the feet, arms parallel to the floor, and we're going to roll down, pressing to the back of the legs, all the way to the mat. Once we reach the mat, maybe you give a little shake to your legs again here. And let's go into the last hip stretch. before a little inversion, a twist, and shavasana. Fold your knees up. Happy baby pose. Open your knees out. Grab the outside of the feet. And using your hands, pressing those feet down, pressing the knees down to the side of the rib cage. And breathe. So here, see if you can ground to the back of the shoulders down. If you're not able to because your feet are too far up, slide your hands to grab at the ankles or right past the ankles and pull from here to keep your shoulders down. Keep your feet flexed. So the same action, you're just having a different grip so that your shoulder blades can stay flattened down. The front of the shoulders is opening out. Plenty of room to breathe throughout the chest and the belly. One more breath here. And slowly release your feet towards your sit bones. Release your hands from your feet and place your feet right behind your sit bones. Anchor your feet to parallel. Start that Pada Bandha, the same activation of the feet that we worked with today, where you can lift your toes up and feel how you're pressing through the ball of the feet from the big toe all the way to the little toe. The outer edge of the feet pressing down, the inner and outer edge of the heel pressing down, and then feel the natural lift of the inner arch of the foot. Then once you find that action, you can relax your toes down. Arms to the side body. You're going to press in your feet, engage your legs to fly your hips up as you swing your arms behind you. You rest the back of your hands down, the back of the arms down. If you tighten the shoulders, you can bend the elbows and open your arms a little wider out to the side. And now find how much power you have in your legs, pressing down into the feet with that Pada Bandha engaged into your feet. And how you're able from there to shift your weight into the shoulders, heavy arms. Lifting the center of the chest up a little bit, especially using the inhale to naturally lift it a little bit higher. Keep on building your bridge, leveraging how high you want to go, not from a mind perspective, but from the body inviting you to do so. One more breath here. And then slowly, as you keep your arms behind you, to lengthen the spine, because you'll use the heaviness of the arms behind you, roll the spine down. And extend your legs forward, flexing your feet and your arms being already behind you. Stretch your arms and fingers behind you as you stretch your feet forward, and give yourself a nice long stretch through the whole body. Bending your knees up, catch your knees with your hands, press in. And lifting your legs up, arms up, parallel to the legs. Gentle ankle and wrist rotations up into the air, enjoying this inversion here. And reverse. Back to center. Let's do a fancy twist today, a little deeper than usual. Crossing your right leg over the left, bend the knees, and then grabbing the outside of the right knee with your left hand, right arm out, and let's twist from this position. Try to keep the knees close into the chest as you roll the hips and legs out to the left, land, and spread out from the left hip. Feel the lengthening of the right side of the torso. expanding out to the right arm and right hand. Instead of bringing your arm shoulder height, you can bring it a little higher and find that diagonal from the right arm down to the right hip, and breathe. Turn your head to the right. Make sure your chin is in a position that naturally supports your neck, relaxing instead of tensing up. A couple more breath here. And then soften that right arm first to the side so you have a little more room to work with here. You release your hand from the right knee and you squeeze the belly, taking an inhale without squeezing it, and exhale, squeeze deep as you roll everything back to center, keeping your knees as close into the chest as possible. And find your center, and only then you uncross the legs up. Give it a couple of rotations here, and then left leg on top of right, bend the knees. Grab the outside of the left knee with your right hand. Guide all the way out to the right land. And then find the twist from the midline of the body to expanding across the chest. Left arm to the side, and then again you can bring that left arm closer to the left ear. Not all the way to the left ear, but finding that right angle that expands from the left hip to the left fingertips. Turn your head to the left and breathe. Relax in breath, exploring the different layers of your twist here. And soften that left arm down first to soften the stretch here. Release your right hand. Take a deep exhale to squeeze the belly in and release back to center. Uncross the leg. Extend your legs out for the last time. Arms up. Shake everything out. Shake it, shake it, shake it. And relax. Sit down. Extend your legs forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades under a little bit, not specifically tightening them in together toward the spine, but more of sliding them down towards the low back to create a little extra length to the sides of the neck. And maybe try to reach with your right heel a little further forward, flexing your foot a bit so your heel goes a little further, and then you relax your foot and you feel more longer on the right leg than the left leg. And then flex the left foot, stretch through the back of the heel, and relax again and find a little more space here to the back of the leg. And then close your eyes if they're not closed yet. And start your melting. Imagine butter either in a saucepan on the fire of the stove, or butter left out into a bowl under summer sun. And that's how you're experiencing the body melting from the surface to within and from the body to the ground. So you eventually, through your shavasana, become a puddle of butter, of liquefied butter on your mat. Golden and warm. Softening and releasing Any and all tensions you may come to experience on the way to relaxing, acknowledging how the body holds a little tighter here and there, just ready for the next stretch and the next move. So in the space of Shavasana, we go from doing into being, into complete surrender, putting that space for the body and the mind to settle in union. And as you progressively scan through the different parts of the body, your breath carries a subliminal message to relax, 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 relax a little bit more. Every passage, every path of breath, every round of breath feels one more layer and another layer and another layer, layers by layers, deeper into relaxation. As one of my teachers said, the body loves its breath. And so when breath comes to become aware and conscious into the field of the body, when we're directing our focus, our attention to the breath flowing, the body embraces the breath and relaxes, releases what it's been holding for so long, feeling nurtured and cleansed through the breath. And comes a point that you've melted so far, so deep, that breath and body dissolve. You melt in together, and you feel that floating presence of yours beyond body shape. The space between breath increases, expands, and that's where you find that access to nothingness, to complete peace, to unlimited, to being boundless. very gently and unrushed. Start experiencing your body sensations again. Welcoming the movement, the texture, the touch of your breath. And using that breath to reconnect to your limbs, to your torso, to your head. Starting inviting gentle movement wherever it rises. When you're ready, fold your knees up. Catch your knees with your hands or your shins. Hug them in. And gently roll from side to side. Roll all the way out to that side that is calling you tonight. And finding a completely relaxed, surrendered fetal position on your side. Finding the support of the floor through your upper hand, your opposite elbow in contact with the ground. We push and lift and rise. To find a cross-legged seated position where we started class tonight. Eyes are still gently closed. Full circle from beginning to end. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Feel your roots. Feel the lightness of your spine and torso being supported by your sit bones to the ground. Feel the quality of your breath, maybe a little deeper, wider, more nourishing and fulfilling than the breath at the beginning of class tonight. Bringing hands together in front of the heart center. Sacred prayer. Sacred prayer and reverence to yourself. Acknowledging the beauty, the magnificence, the power, the health of your body and mind, and your connection to beyond. And from here, let's chant one Om to seal our practice tonight. Take a deep inhale. Honoring divine consciousness through the gentle touch of the third eye. Honoring the spiritual heart as we gently touch the chest. And honoring Mama Earth and manifest world, creation and Shakti as we touch the belly. Bowing to all three. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm coming close to you with my glasses on so I can see
Thank you, Dushka.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dishka. It was lovely. I needed that.
Well, that's good.
Struggle killed me, but I tried, so that's all right. I'll feel good tomorrow.
Right? Yeah, because you just started yoga again when we started the confinement, right?
Uh, More regularly, yes. Before it was kind of, hit and miss, one of those kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, on a more regularly, yes, thanks to you. See, I just can't do it without you. That's it. That's the answer right there.
Well, that's good, yeah. And so, yeah, it takes a while to get back in gear,
Yes.
to retrain and find its pathways and connections.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just 5 years later, so my body is 5 years older too. So
5 years wiser,
it
wiser.
well, and it's more stubborn also. It doesn't want to give in as much.
You have to kind of tame it, make friends with
Yeah,
it,
it,
find a little compromise here and there, like, come on, let's do this.
right. Yeah, but
Then we'll have a glass of wine, but first we'll do this.
right. Yeah. No, but it's definitely helping me with my back and the sciatica I'm dealing with.
Definitely yoga helps with that.
Yeah, yeah, it does. All right.
Scott didn't have to run for any kind of emergency, so that's good.
Well, I missed about 20 minutes there toward the beginning, so we stepped out and came back.
Okay, well, but at least you got a good hour, a little more than that.
Absolutely.
So I'll see you on Thursday, if you can make it. And
Sounds good.
have a good evening, night.